Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Clueless Drinker. It's now the 2nd of November and it's getting a little bit chilly, even though the last couple of days have been inexplicably warm. Thank you, Germany. So when it comes to this time of year, I gravitate to the more darker and heavier styles of beer. And of course, being in Germany, we have the Doppelbock, one of my all-time favourite styles. Picked up a Doppelbock at one of the local supermarkets. Went there on a Sunday, and if you're familiar with Germany, a lot of the places shut on Sundays. A lot of the supermarkets, basically any shop for the most part, shuts on a Sunday. The only place you find open are like cafes, restaurants, that sort of thing. So I was in there picking up a couple of things. Every now and then they stock a specialty beer. Nothing too unique for the most part, and it's usually stuff that is, although widely available in other places, you don't really see it in this specific area, and I'm guessing it changes with each region. So I like to just go in there every now and then, see what they've got, pick up something that I know probably won't be able to pick up for a good few months. And found a Doppelbock, which is perfect for the weather that we should be having right now. Picked it up, went to the cash register with my other shopping, was going off completely fine, and then it came to the beer and he basically said, oh, this is, it's part of a six-pack, there is no price for this beer individually. He was a young guy, you could tell he was fed up working on a Sunday, completely understandable, so he just nodded me on for me to take the beer anyway. So I got this beer for free. I'm not going to complain. Thank you, frustrated young guy. So the beer in question is from the Tucher Brewery out of Nuremberg, and this is the Bajuvator Doppelbock, clocking in at 7.5%. Really nice looking label. Nice dark deep brown colour scheme. Almost got like a sense of chocolate on there. But yeah, of course, you've got a good old-fashioned beer wench there, brandishing some beer steins, and got a nice foil label on the top as well. Of course, I'll show you if the crown has got a design on it underneath. But yeah, really nice looking beer. Kind of reminds me of Franziskaner Royal for some reason in the design, even though that beer was really quite a letdown. Definitely got that Bavarian style. You've got the Bavarian flag in the background, even though it's, brown. But not to worry, it looks like fantastic beer. Let's open this one up and get it poured. And of course, it goes everywhere. Don't you just love it when that happens? There's a reason why I do a lot of beer reviews in the kitchen. The fucking apartment smells like a brewery now, so Jeannie's gonna love me. I had to open the windows to let all the fresh air in. Beer in a glass, God, it's really quite a pungent smell. My hands were so sticky. Didn't lose too much, thankfully. So anyway, let's pour it into a glass. Was not expecting that to be as active. It's been resting under the sink since yesterday, so don't know why it was so active. Shit happens. It actually just looks like a glass of Coke. It's got like a nice reddish hue to it. It's not completely solid brown, but yeah, bordering on the ruby red. Also has a slight look of like a berry juice or cranberry juice to it. But it's a really nice looking beer, and it poured with, well, heads pretty much dissipated straight away, slightly tan coloured head, and to me it's a bit more reddish than some of the other Doppelbocks that I've tried, but it still looks like a nice beer. So anyway, let's give it a sniff. I'm getting like dark fruits in there. Getting like a cherry liqueur as well. The alcohol is really quite evident in there. It sort of got like a brandy sort of sniff to it. Getting slight hints of a bitter chocolate with a caramel. Not black coffee, but not really milky coffee. It's almost like a weaker, lighter blend of coffee in the back now. And like toffee notes as well. It smells really nice, rich and indulgent. A bit more tart than I was expecting it to. But anyway, smells nice. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. Doing another cup because I wasn't really happy with how it turned out, my tasting of it. So I've drank a good chunk of it so far, and I think I could do a much better condensed job. So here it goes. It's got a really nice nuttiness to it. You are getting those like dark berries in there as well, dark fruits, sort of like the stuff you get on something like a Black Forest Gatto. Even though it's 7.5%, the alcohol is masked really nicely. You are still getting that warming sensation as it goes down. And you are picking up like almost like a sherry or a brandy flavour, but it's not too overpowering, and you could easily do damage with a beer like this because it's really nice and drinkable. It's got a really nice full body to it, but at the same time it's not too heavy, and this for me is probably one of the most levelled and balanced Doppelbocks that I've ever had. It's not the most flavoursome, and I think a Doppelbock like this would be great for people who have not tried a Doppelbock. I want something a little bit different. For people with a palate that is still in development and they've not tried a Doppelbock, this is a really good one. It's a really good way to get into the style. But yeah, it's really nice and flavoursome. Why don't I go into the actual flavour and just saying it's flavoursome? You get like a nice dense fruitiness, but at the same time in the background you're getting like a nice subtle coffee flavour. Not espresso, it's more of a milder coffee. You are getting ever so slight hints of a bitter chocolate and caramel. In fact, the caramel is probably the flavour that's throughout the beer that you can pick up the most. And it has got that nice, rich, indulgent factor to it without being too overpowering. So it's a great beer to bridge the gap and to introduce yourself to the Doppelbock style. It's not the most flavoursome and it's not the greatest Doppelbock that I've ever tasted, but when I put those factors into consideration, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10 because it's a great starting point for people who haven't tried Doppelbock yet. And it's one of those beers that, again, I'm giving it points because of its availability. From my very basic research, it's a very popular beer. You'll always find reviews of it online. I didn't check the score on Rate Beer and Beer Advocate, but I did find a lot of YouTube reviews, and it is available on places like Beers of Europe, so I'm guessing if it's that accessible in the UK, the bigger American online beer shops should stock this as well. So it's an accessible beer, it's a great gateway beer, and it's a really good example of the style. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. And there have been tastier Doppelbocks that I've given less. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm going to consider all those factors in this review. And yeah, it's an 8 out of 10 from me. A really good example of Doppelbock style. And it tastes really nice. You could do damage with this, which might be a detriment. It's going to make you feel warm and cosy on a cold winter's night, but at the same time, you can drink this with a really nice, rich, indulgent Black Forest Gatto, for example, or a nice, rich ginger cake. But at the same time, it would go great with a roast dinner. It would be the perfect accompaniment to anything with gravy, let's put it that way. In fact, you could probably make a really nice gravy from this Doppelbock. Yeah, it's a really nice, versatile, well-balanced Doppelbock that I'm really surprised by. And yeah, I'll definitely be picking this up again. I probably will end up picking up a 6-pack of this because we're going to one of Jeannie's friends tomorrow night. So I'll probably pick up a 6-pack of this. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this beer review. Yeah, it was a messy one, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. If you want to find out more about the Tucher Brewery and this beer specifically, then I'll be putting a lot of references down below in the description box, as well as other Doppelbocks that I've tried up till this point. And of course, for some of my other beer reviews, check out the Clueless Drinker playlist down below. So I'm definitely going to enjoy the rest of this beer. I'm probably going to drink it a bit too quickly, and I shall see you in the next beer review. Cheers, guys.